Time. Digi-Key and Adafruit present
On NPI.
Alright, this week,
ST Micro,
yeah,
which I got you a nice vector logo. So this week's INPI is from an ST microcontroller. So it is the, I love how they have this rendering with the number on it. It's the STM32WLE5C8U6, but in this case the X is going to be 5. I say X equals 5 in this one. Why? Because I'm talking specifically about, this is the STM32, wireless, I think this is WL, low energy. Is probably what WLE stands for, and 5 means it's got LoRaWAN support. Okay, what do I mean LoRaWAN? So we actually stock LoRa radios and LoRaWAN radios in the store, and we have for a while. I really like them. What's a LoRaWAN? If you are not familiar, you probably know about Bluetooth, right? That's a low-power wireless network that communicates between your phone and a tablet and your computer, or like your watch and your GPS or your heart rate monitor. And there's also cellular, right? That's what your phone uses, but also there's embedded cellular that gets data, to and from machine to machine. From like a vending machine would send data to a main distribution network saying, "Hey, I'm out of Sprite. Come over and fill me up with Sprite," so they know what to deliver. There's also Wi-Fi. You're really familiar with that, but all these have downsides. So Wi-Fi, it's pretty good, but it's not super long range. There is a limitation. The same with Bluetooth. And cellular has really long range because you can be like within miles of a antenna. But the problem is you have to pay for it monthly. What's really nice about LoRa is that it has mile range, but it's free. So we have, we showed you the bonnet, and here is a feather with a RFM 9X. It's a SX1276 based module, and that's the thing on the right, that silver thing. And then we have a microcontroller in the center that controls it. Well, what if you didn't need two things, right? There's two things here, microcontroller, radio. What if we squished them together? Okay, well, this is the radio that you would normally use, the SX1276. And it's like, $5, $6, and you actually kind of have to use this radio if you're using LoRa because it's under patent. But what's cool about this chip is it has that radio like literally inside it. You don't need to wire it up, and you even get the SigFox and LoRaWAN stack. SigFox is a paid network that's similar to LoRaWAN. I don't use it as much, so I don't speak to it, but if you're interested in SigFox, they run the backbone network for you, so you don't have to have a gateway, and that's something you have to think about. With LoRaWAN, well, with cellular and Wi-Fi, right, there's an existing router, network, internet that you work with. But with LoRaWAN, you're going to have to set up your own gateway. We recommend getting involved with the Things Network because they set up citywide network gateways, and they have gateways available and products available that you can purchase that work with LoRaWAN. So even though you have to maintain your own network, there's like a community there. There's people you can hang out. I went to the Things Network and I checked out the devices that work with it, and they had 300 plus gateways and devices that you could use with this chip to create your wireless mesh or star-shaped network. This is an indoor router that we stock. It's only $99, and it gives you a Wi-Fi to LoRa gateway. We also have one that's much more complicated. It's 8-channel, and it goes on a Raspberry Pi. Also, it can give you cellular or Wi-Fi connectivity. So this chip has a lot going on with it. What I really like is it has all the peripherals and timers you want. I think it's even got USB. The low power numbers are excellent. It's like 1 microamp. It's got lots of GPIOs and PLLs. It's basically an STM32F4, Cortex M4. I think running at 64 megahertz. I can't quite see, maybe 48 megahertz with 64K flash. And it's, you wouldn't necessarily run CircuitPython on it yet, maybe some of the bigger chips, but you can definitely run C code, and they provide all the C code for you. There's also some security stuff in there, so you can encrypt your data. But yeah, the specs on it for the low power are just incredible. So in stop mode, but with the RTC, it's 1 microamp. If you're into shutdown mode, you're getting into the nanoamp zone. But otherwise, what's really cool is just you have the radio built in. So this chip the pricing is also really competitive. It's basically the same price as just the radio, but you get this free microcontroller with it. So you can pick it up. This is the
it's on
part I
Digi-Key.
recommend.
And here's a short URL, Digi-Key.com/short /4T 300p.
It's kind of a nice
you
short
could just
URL.
type in probably STM32.
STM32WLE.
WL will get you there.
But let's look at the overhead real fast because I want to show you the Nucleo add-on. So this is, it's kind of cool actually. It came with a little tin, and I just removed the tin. It actually wasn't even soldered on. It's clipped on, which is pretty sweet. Let me just now zoom in into the analog section. Okay, so this is the analog section, and I just want you to see that you, this is the chip, and so the one I picked was a QFN, but it doesn't come in BGA if you want it really small. You will need to create your analog section, right? It has a radio, but you have to handle all the antenna interfacing, and then this is the antenna. It runs, I think you can do like 100 to about 1,000 gigahertz. It's sub-GHz. You don't have to use LoRa. You can also use like FSK or BFSK or whatever. You have all the other encodings, although I picked this because I really like LoRa, and I think that the idea of an all-in-one chip is great. You'll have to tune this antenna section for the antenna frequency you want. So even though so people ask me all the time, like, oh, I can tune this between 100 and 900. Well, that's assuming that your antenna is good between that range and that your front end area is tuned to that range. If not, you're just gonna have to pick, a narrow band of about 100 megahertz and stick to that. So that's the STM32WLE5 series. One thing to watch out for, there's also 4 and other chips. The 5 is the one that has the LoRa WAN stack come with it. So that's what I recommend if you want to do all-in-one LoRa microcontroller stuff.
Okay, and we have a little bit of a short video from STM. And that's week's on NPI.
I love this one. I'm excited when they make one with a little bit more RAM. I think this would be a great CircuitPython chip.
Hi on NPI.